On the other note, I think it's great of all of you that you have started the year with learning or exploring something new, which is by joining this webinar. And I really hope that you will find it useful. I try to put information here that you can use, maybe improve some of the things that you're doing already, maybe using internal systems. Maybe you will see that the new system that I will show, of course, on our system, maybe you will want to try it out. But our focus with the webinars is not only show how our products work, but give insightful, useful information. And this webinar will be exactly that. It will be showing you how you can use it despite the programs or software you're using. So all of that will be very useful and relevant to you. Why I've chosen the topic of the brokerage reports and the business intelligence in general, because of the technology that is developing and evolving, not only because of the artificial intelligence, and most likely I will not say that word today, because that's completely separate webinar topic that we can do, but the brokerage companies have enormous amount of data about the traders, about the technology providers they're using, about the servers, about the liquidity, the amount of important numbers and metrics is just overwhelming. And that all turns into a big data. But to work with the big data, you need to have big data analysis, and you need to have certain knowledge and experiences, or the whole team actually who is working with the big data, or developers who can transform it. So not every brokerage companies are there yet, maybe not mentally, but don't maybe see the benefit of it yet. Some doesn't have the capacity to implement it, and same time that topic is incredibly hot, and that actually helps a lot to drive the business forward, especially when many things like in our industry are changing. So let's go let me tell you what's going to happen today. I will, in the first place, introduce you with the concept of business intelligence, what it actually is across all of the industries, not only what it means in the FX companies, and why it is important, what kind of benefits you can have from it, and how actually to use it. That we will do by looking into the categories of the reports. If you will see the software provider showing all reports in one place, that will be a marketing trick, because the truth is you don't want to have all reports in one screen, in one page, because you will never be able to make sense of it. It's important to categorize the information, the reports, and have them sent in the appropriate relevant places without overdoing things. And with that, of course, goes reading reports effectively, which means to know what to look at, how to notify, how to see the changes, and how to make sense of all these numbers, and how to understand what is important for your type of business or for your specific business situation. And the key metrics is different in different business cases and different brokerage companies. And we will go roughly through understanding what is important for each type of company. And the most important, otherwise I wouldn't have done this webinar, is actually turning this data into actions, into being able to take informative decision and to see what's next, or to see so what. Like, I have all this data, I have this report, I have this dashboard, it tells me this, and what do I do with that? That's what we're going to talk about. And then we will have time for your questions and answers. There will be not much theory. I will go a little bit more showing the reports itself. So let's talk about what is business intelligence. So when it's used properly, the business intelligence is going to drive changes within the company and going to change your company from year to year. The business intelligence process, automating and channeling the information from multiple sources into one dashboard that is so easy to read that instantly it gives you insight about what is actually happening and what is going on. And then you go deeper into that and you can understand the reasons and see different scenarios to solve the reasons, to work with these reasons. The most important here that it's collects data from different points, puts it in one place together, combines it and shows you the result. I will give you samples about that later on. Why we care so much about this reporting and why we think that's the key to drive your business forward. Of course, the patterns of the activity. That was something that we've been asked many times in the last few years. And understanding who are your traders, what are the trading patterns you have, is the crucial to understand what is the financial system that you can have for these traders in the company. Of course, controlling the risk exposure and controlling the risk, not only of the risk exposure for today, but what's going to happen with these traders in 1 week, in 1 month, in 2 months, and also the partners like liquidity providers. That will help to improve the financial result of the company and experience for the traders as well, which again will turn into improving financial results for the company. Of course, certain things I would assume that most of you who join now, who watching it later, are in the dealing, but it's important to align all the teams for success. It's important that we track the churn rate. That's mostly is done by the CRM system, but we see the performance and the portfolio of the traders. We see what's happening. We see what is the message is sent, and these processes should be aligned and talked about, and see how one part of the onboarding client is affecting the other one with the offboarding client or with the churn rate and so on. So thorough report that is touching multiple bases helps to keep the company united and driving for the better success. And of course, with all the changes that are happening, especially in our industry, when the news or post on the X platform can drive the prices in certain directions and change which currencies are traded, it's important to make fast decisions. Again, not only about the products that you're offering, but maybe about the providers that you're using who can offer you better conditions on that specific traded product. And that's what business intelligence can help with. To go for that, it's all different multiple departments, of course, going through different stages. And it's important to categorize reports because, again, if you will just see 50 different numbers for thousands of different trades on hundreds of instruments, that will be very difficult to connect to. So it's important to cut off not important part, not necessary or insignificant part, and to see what actually matters. And in different aspects, it's a different things. And that's why we need categories to make it neat and clear. Of course, there is things for the risk and exposure reports. There is a trading information. There is information about the client activity and behavior or longevity, and the revenue reports for the financial part. But it's important for them to talk with each other as well, or when needed, to align, to put these numbers together, how this client activity reports actually corresponding with the revenue reports. There should be ability to cross these numbers as well to make a conclusion if the strategy was a good one or if it needs improvement and how it's gonna work further. And now I want to go actually to to show you the interface of the product. About one-page reports. What's important to see in one page is the overview and the summary. So this page, for example, the summary that we have is showing you the information that is relevant. For example, we haven't had, it's our demo system, we haven't had any trading this week because there were public holidays. And that's exactly how the summary should work. It shows you preview of the information just enough to, on the surface, understand what's been happening. I have an explanation why our presentation servers doesn't have the data for this week, and it's very clear one. Otherwise, I would know where to go, what to with whom to check why there is no data. The same can be with actual real trading activity that you will see. Here we have the preset on weekly basis, and you will see the trends and the anomalies. That's what this summary is about, just to see if anything needs to have more attention. Just if you are on a plateau, to understand if you're growing or if it's descending, and of course linking with different seasons and holiday seasons. That's what summary for. We don't want to overwhelm it. It only takes 2 seconds to understand if that's need attention or not. Then we can move to the exposure. Exposure, to have it a bit prettier, I will do with the lots. With exposure, here it's a little bit deeper to see what are the most traded instruments and what is the volume and what is the profitability. In our sample, it's a different instrument, so we can later go to the actual positions that we have on the liquidity to see, is that one account? Is that across multiple traders? Is that the same trading behavior because it's multiple accounts? What is actually happening? But again, this chart can show us anomalies and can show us, direct us where to look next. That's what you do to understand what exactly needs to be checked. It's enough with a couple of seconds, but the key here is to get the direction if something needs immediate attention. For those who want to have manual check on everything, again, it takes just a couple of seconds to understand if anything needs attention or not, but it's a very good one when you actually need to spend that attention. With that, for example, what conclusion I would make if I see that this is the trend for the last month, or like the last year was the trading of the gold mainly across multiple companies. There is different percentages that we hear about and see of the trading. But if you see that certain type of clients is loving certain instrument that you have, you want to make sure that what kind of trading pattern they have there and what kind of liquidity, quality of liquidity I have there, because it's no secret for you that liquidities have different quality on different instruments as well, depending on to where they are connected. And sometimes some companies are driven mainly by the commission per million, or for the trading volume or the swap changes, or are they happy about the positive slippage, for example. But the positive slippage can actually mean that you have delayed quotes, and that will attract certain type of traders again who will be exploiting these delays. And if you check the quality of liquidity regularly, because it might be not liquidity even fault, might be a software fault, maybe server fault, anything. But it's good to see these things before they happen and regular. So back first, let's go to the trader's activity and to the patterns. We will go to the positions. We do show in our system the open positions by the instrument, how you would see that on the liquidity side. by the platform to see actual overall position and to better direct yourself where it's going, and you can see different more details about the position. And to analyze the traders, you can go to the trading history. Again, here we divide the deals, the trading experience, and LP execution. Why it is business intelligence? Because the amount, hope you see the pop-out screen here, but amount of information that we track per order, per deal, per request is sufficient to make a decision about the trading pattern and about the efficiency of the trading platform and efficiency of the liquidity provider. Let me show you the LP performance first to explain what I mean with liquidity. With the spreads, for example, here we can show by the instrument. We have seen the instrument that is most tradable in our case. That was USD. Yeah. So we can apply that and see what is actually like overview of the quality of this liquidity. And then again, there are much more what you can see about the liquidity, and you can upload it in Excel file. And I know each one of you using Excel file for better reports and because you want to customize it in your own way. So let me share with you the type of the reports and data that or the conclusions you can make. I will show you now the Excel file with the liquidity. So we uploaded with I made LP1, LP2, LP3, but this is actually based on the real trading data, and just not to put any conclusions on any liquidities, but that's actually based on the real data. We show overall, again, just on a glance, how they compare with each other. And I have added LP metrics, for example, here. That is possible to do on your own based on lots of different data. And I have added the order cancellations and top of the book updates, for example, to understand which liquidity is actually good and the amount of deals that went to these liquidities, to understand who is giving us better exposure, who is giving us better response, and what is possible to see as well in the other report. Let me show you one more file. Here, for example, this is the trading history. So that is already based. The one is LP overview, overall LP performance. Here is the data from the trading history to see how actually the trading was happening and the performance or behavior of the liquidity in that case, and behavior of the clients as well. In my case, I will go through showing the liquidity. Again, we're sending it with a review of the information, exposure between A and B book profiles and the traded instruments and the profile. So in this sample case, there are just 3 accounts, and we can see the it's based on the certain liquidity. We can see the slippages and the execution duration and execution time to help us understand how are they actually performing. What do they give us in terms of how much time it takes to execute the order, and you will be able to compare the actions of the performance of the accounts and the performance of the liquidity and see the correlation, because at the end of the day, you want to have good experience for the traders, so they stay longer with you, and better experience with the liquidities as well. The pivot tables in general, again, I did not do in our case here. There is these traders. They were not trading on the swaps, so there is zeros. But the pivot tables in general help very easily to create the pivot tables, helping to create and match different data and information. Let me quickly show you here. For example, we have all the information that you can either easily put on the draw part or on the values. For example, easily add the slippage to the sums, and you can do it by the instrument in our case or by the login. So that part, the key here is the amount of information and points that we're tracking, and different departments can upload different type of the not different type, but can focus on different parts. Someone will check the systems because we can track how much time it took to the bridge to execute the order, to the server, to the platform itself. Because we can connect different platforms, and we can see how the platforms itself performing for the execution of the order, the liquidity, what is the pricing, how many updates they had, and with the profile, with more with the profiling of the clients, with more in-depth understanding of the behavior, we can understand what type of clients there are. And I think that is the most interesting part, probably for many of you. So I will go back to the interface of the. This is where we understand patterns for the trading activity, and we do have preset patterns. The most frequently asked are high frequency traders and arbitrage trading. There is different ways to determine what type, how to understand this client, how to highlight these trading patterns and what to do with them exactly. And on the minimal level, we can create this pools and understand that this type of clients are belonging to this type of trading and notify you, and then you can see by yourself what is actually happening on that account. Because if you check that account, you will understand what's happening. Most risk managers will do that. It's just important to see the anomalies, as we've been saying. So first, let's go to the summary for the reading reports, and then I will touch a little bit more about the actions with the business intelligence. As I said, it's important to do the segmentation. Now, when many brokers using different platforms, it can be by the platforms. You want to see what type of traders and what type of instruments are happening with the certain platforms. I'm sure that it's different different profile of the traders on different platforms. Of course, it's important to check the trends over the time, on a monthly basis, on a quarter basis, on a year basis, and it's important to project for the future as well. And with a proper understanding of the client's profile, you can also think what you can add to them to have for them better experience and for you higher volumes as well. And that will help to predict and direct the company in a better way as well. The one part that I did not touch yet, but I will do now, is the alert system. Is that when something happens, and that's where our business intelligence can help, and the monitoring system, when there is some behavior that is falling into certain pattern, or some action, activity, that event that happened on the platform, you can be notified about that. We can get the alert and then see what's happening and decide what to do. But we also have automated system that can help you take the decision and like preset decision that this type of clients, they will be moving to certain group and they will be the trades will be executed on certain liquidity, for example, instead of liquidity A. As soon as they falling into high frequency trading pattern, for example, they will be executed on LP2 because and you've seen through the reports that LP2 is better, giving better performance for them than LP1. That is type of the interpretations. That I will send you the presentation. Most of it I have already said, and don't want to repeat myself. But that's some of the things that you can actually do when you see that certain things happen. Because you don't want to just get the report, you want to take the decision. And mainly want the platforms to take the decision for them. That's partly possible, partly still needs reviewing and keep an eye on. But that again, with the business intelligence and reporting, is possible too, because you can see when I had this account on this pool, that was the result. And since it's moved to this pool, what's been happening? What is the difference? What is the change? And I think on a weekly basis, that will be sufficient to make a conclusion if it's improved or if it is the same or if any changes needed. Yes, this is what I want to show. The type of the traders that we have learned to recognize for business intelligence that are the most common. It's, of course, different trading sessions. It's the swap trading, potential arbitrage, which is considered the most trickiest to find because it's very close with the high frequency traders if you just look at the numbers, but the approach and the systems are completely different from the trader's perspective, and how they should be dealt with is also different. With the potential arbitrage, the one thing you need to do is to check the liquidity because most of the time it's the matter of the quote delay, and that will again direct you in the certain direction. What you can do when you get this insights is routing of the flow to the relevant liquidity providers, because when you know who is good with which products, you can better understand where to send them. You can even spread across one account, one trader, that some of the instruments are traded with one liquidity and other instruments with the other liquidity. And that can give a better improvement overall, because with analyzing what the strengths of the liquidity in their offer for you are, the better results will come towards your company. Think or see, based on the trader's experience, what more you can offer them, and try these things as well. Try them for a week and see the results. What's been happening? How the activity changed. You can show with this data, you can show the sales team what is the impact and the result, and they can understand better the product and the outcome of it, and that will align all multiple departments for the better company results overall. And of course, now it's beginning of the year. I know some companies have the strategy sessions at the end of the year. We're going to have ours in the next week, actually, and many of you are thinking about the year plans. To have a good strategy, you need to understand what's been happening over a year, what were the targets and what were the results, and what were the reasons for the good results and reasons for the negative results as well. And for that, it's very important to take informed decisions, understanding if I do this, that will happen, or this happened because we did it in that way, and so on. So the detailed report with the key metrics, with the key important information will help to take these adjustments for the next year. So, with the business intelligence, I tried to show the most that I could. I probably, yes, I did mention about the business intelligence report, that how it works in our system, that we have the preset types of the trading patterns. The clients can fall into the patterns, and then the system can decide, can apply the new rules for the exposure for this client. And you will see the results of it in the report, and you can compare it on a weekly basis or on a daily basis, depending on the activity of the client. When you're working with the reporting systems and with the business intelligence, the clarity, the transparency, and the easiness to understand is the main part. You don't want to have, again, all of the information and all of the numbers and 10 different charts. You need to understand and make a decision what is important in your business model. That 2-3 metrics, maybe 5 maximum, to understand if it is efficient or not, and then go deeper into the details. This systems reports should be very quick and easy to make. It shouldn't be that we spend or you spend 1 day, 2 days, or a week to do the report for the last quarter. It should be accessible. It should be sent automatically. It should be very easy to build together and to pull together, because the timing and the speed is very important. It's important to understand how you can control the performance of it and what impacts this performance. To break down that this is the platform, liquidity, traders, and the sales team who is working with these traders, or onboarding team that's working with the traders. To understand where is this control points that affecting the results of it. And of course, understanding of the business. That's what you already have. That's the framework and the conclusions. Everyone processes things differently. But in the worst case, you can send this report to the ChatGPT, and it will give you a summary and thought process and what you should do as well. And now I am ready for your questions. Is there a way to get an alert if something unusual or wrong happens? There are alert system, and that works with understanding trading patterns, the trading behaviors, but also the behavior of the trading platform, liquidity providers, basically the monitoring alerts when something goes wrong with specific instruments or with any instrument of quotes for a long time, for example. You are getting the alert. We also have the limits so that you don't get too many alerts, because that can be a problem as well. So there is, of course, a way to get notified. And I think in general, not only within our company or the brokerage world, but in general, there are people who fully trust platforms, and there are people who want to check what platforms is doing. And we did not automate it yet, the decision making, because from our experience, most of the risk managers, they want to see what is the decision that the platform going to take. On paper, everyone wants to have a system that will take the decisions for them, but it should be the decision that they will take. And as we know, no two people will take exactly the same decision. So we are here at the stage, definitely, of the alerting. In some way, we can take preset decisions, like pre-confirmed decision with the risk setting, set it up by the risk management team. And probably in some future, already working on that, actually take certain decisions from the platform based on the trader's profile and the performance of the liquidity. Simplify the risk management workflow. So again, the categories and responsible people it shouldn't be one person. It should be multiple people who are responsible for different parts. And in my view, then there's 3, 4, depending on the company size, maybe 10 people who are reviewing different reports. And on the more rare basis, maybe weekly or monthly, quarterly, depending on the number of the reports, align these key metrics, 1, 2 from everyone to see a full picture and a big picture. It shouldn't be I would do it on a monthly basis. I would recommend to do it on a monthly basis because the changes are so quick. We need to see what's happening with the trading activity, with the liquidities, and with all the parties that we have. Just have a responsible person for different category. So Alexei, wondering if we could show the exact report examples. I can show the example, and I can share a PDF with the business intelligence documentation. Before showing, I need to understand what exactly the conclusion, for example, of the trading activity, trading behavior, or the liquidity performance. So to understand what to do, because it starts from the goal. What do we want to see? If we want to see the trading activity, then we need to see the account, for example, the number of the trades, the profitability of the trades, and the frequency of the trades, for example. So that will give you how for one day how many orders they opened on which instruments, and what is the in general duration of the order. So you just in the pivot tables, you can put them together if that's the purpose. If it is the purpose to track the trading platform, the execution, for example, the servers we have, you go to the same trading history report, and you choose, instead of the logins, you can choose the instruments again. I think it will be better. Yeah, with the instruments on the trading platform, and you choose the execution for the trading platform, overall execution, execution from the liquidity side, and adding the slippage, how it's affected. And then it will be checking more at the system continuity and the impact of it. Because maybe one number is higher than the others, but they all are still in a very good standard and doesn't affect it doesn't affect the slippage or the performance, and then you don't need to change anything because maybe one of the liquidity is just cross-connected and the other liquidity is just connected, and the numbers can be much different in terms of the execution, but the actual result is not different. And in terms of the market standards, the difference is not sufficient to actually do any changes. So based on the actual end goal and on the what do you want to take, you picking up these parts, and we do have some preset overview, and we will add up a little bit more dashboards to understand. But again, need to know the end goal and what exactly we're checking to go through the details. But our team will contact you, and we will show you around a bit more with understanding what exactly the goal. Here the question about automatic. I think this was sent before I touched the point that not everyone is trusting the platforms yet to take the decisions automatically. How we've done it at this point is that we have pre-agreed settings that the platform can take as soon as the trader is falling into a specific pattern. And that is the middle ground terms at the moment that we see that the risk managers are ready for and the platform can do. And we are working and want to implement more autonomy on the trading platform part, on the not trading, on the bridging business intelligence part, but the both sides should be ready for these actions. But that's, as I see, is gonna be the future. I think this is a question if there is reporting on a single document. We divide these documents because we talk to many companies, and everyone have their own Excel files and upload the data and everything. And I think to separate the parts and the pages is the key to make better conclusions and the easier conclusions. We can put them together and create 10 pages in the Excel file, but to add more there will be even more complicated. It's easier when we do the cross information about the performance of the liquidity and performance of the trader, and put it in one separate thing, and to send the end of the day report, for example, to see the overall performance of the company across all the platforms, than to create one big pile of reports. Risk system, but also text advanced fraud practices in proprietary trading. Depending on how advanced, it's a constant battle. They do more advanced system and we do more advanced system. There are, in business intelligence, we track all the different parts and of like the components of the trading. We can customize, and you can customize and create your own patterns when it's filling, your own patterns with different components to put them together. And we do advise certain behaviors, and we're going to add the review of that as well, so that there is pointing that this looks suspicious, and the more advanced they become, the more advanced we're becoming as well, because it's constant work. But it can take some time to detect them before understanding that this is actually certain things that's already been in the market for a long time is already relevantly easy to catch up and understand that this is that type of behavior, and we can try it on your platform, for example, install the business intelligence and see what it's picking up, what type of behavior are there, and to see if there is anything suspicious. But different reports will be evolving as well. Hope that answered the question. Yeah, if there are any more questions, please send me in the chat. I think I actually did not introduce myself from the start. So yes, I'm Albina Zhdanova, commercial officer of the company of Tools for Brokers. I've been in the industry for 12 years now, a bit more than 12 years. The risk management part is something that our company gradually moved into with the bridge. Before, we used to do more reporting as applications, as additional services, and now all of our products are coming together with the bridge and accompanying complementing products around it. And the risk management is one of my personal interests in the developing. I'm having conversations with many brokerage companies, sometimes by myself, sometimes our managers having these conversations with you. And that is the focus that we're going to develop within the company for throughout the next year. And if any of you are having more questions or want to have specific cases, want to discuss specific cases, we will be very happy to have that conversation with you. You can contact me or our sales team, and just some info about the company. If some of you hearing about us for the first time, I'm in the company for 12 years. Company exists 15 years. So I know lots of the past that's been happening and the growth that we have made as a company with the whole team, with the opening offices across multiple countries and having clients across multiple countries as well. We do have over 100 liquidity providers connected to the bridge and over 200 clients using our software, not only the bridge, but other accompanying products as well. And business intelligence is one of the long requested product and one of the thought through product. We have rebuilt it multiple times, fine-tuning it to actually be beneficial because we want our products to be efficient and helping tool, not the complicated system that you have to then redo in your own way and understand how to use or have a special degree of something, but actually have our platforms as a daily useful tools for your businesses. If you don't have any more questions, thank you very much, everyone. Bye bye.